Hey everybody, this is really an exciting one, and I know the market's been tough for many of you, but there are times like this, it is times like this that are the best of days. So let me explain why and walk you guys through a couple of things. So this is the latest in my Retire on Crypto series. This time I think I've built a pretty optimal portfolio, and I will show you today, first of all, what you can do with a $50,000 investment in one day, what that'll mean in 2030, and also what type of investment you need to make today to retire in 2030 in many countries all around the world. India, El Salvador, United States, Australia, and many more. So buckle in, this will be a fun one. And we're going to talk about a lot of crypto. So as usual, disclaimer, this is not investment advice, this is just edutainment. And math is the future of money. So this is what this is all about. There's a ton of number crunching in here. I am probably red in the eyes from running through spreadsheets all day, but here we are, and expect it to be good. So first of all, I just want to share this. It's kind of a little bit alarming. I went and took a quick look at YouTube today, and I literally thought the world was ending. The point here is just be very, very careful who you listen to online. And when you look at these alarming thumbnails, they're really designed to make everybody sell. And I don't know why these people do this, because some of the people here are actually good people and they know better. They know better not to alarm people. But I know I've been on the receiving end of a lot of people who are very distraught, heartache and pain, people who are throwing in the towel, people who are giving up on crypto, because everywhere they look, there's this alarming sentiment. And all I'm saying is, be careful who you listen to, okay? Now, so quick chart. There's going to be a couple of charts here, not many. But as we can see here, this is the crypto market cap from basically earlier this year in January. We had a $1 trillion market cap. It went to a $2.6 trillion market cap in April, and it was down to 1.1 trillion this morning. Now, what that means, it's gone up 1.6x and down 57% in the space of a few months. And yeah, if you look at the chart I have here, you'll see that the 50-day is going to cross the 200-day again, and we all know what that means. Yes, another death cross, which means don't worry about it, it's going to be fine. But the point here is, look at the wick. I always talk about the wicks, the wick down. The key here, everybody, turn that off. Sit back, wait, be patient, have your powder dry, and be ready to pounce. Don't be fearful. Think about the people that bought at, say, 64K, 56K, 46K, 40K, 35K, 30K. And today you have the opportunity to buy at 29K, or even a little bit less too. So again, have those limit orders ready, have the powder ready, and wait for things to come to you, because great things can happen when that does happen. I know people are jaded, etc., but again, it's a good thing. So I want to also show you something for those who are not veterans. But literally, this is the 7th dip of its kind in the world's best performing asset. But buckle in and always be ready. She is a volatile beast. It wicks down, it wicks up, it goes all over the place. You don't expect a 200% per year asset just to go like that. It'll go woo, woo, woo. So anyway, little chart I thought was interesting to share. Now, in other news, it's also important to keep an eye on where the market is in terms of total market capitalization and who the players are. Now, for a while there, Bitcoin was under 40%, and it was obvious it was completely undervalued. Now it's back up to 47%. Now, for those of you who are holding things like ICP and others, I know you're really getting hurt, and I feel for you, but that's one of the reasons why I only invest in blue chip assets. Yes, they are stable. Yes, they are larger market caps. Yes, they may not go up 100% in a couple of weeks, but they will gradually generate some very large returns. And I'm going to talk more about those as well, and why I invest the way I invest. So what we've done, as you guys know, I've done 13 different crypto token analysis, and I've shared them with you. It's called the Should I Buy series. And this is a quick summary of a heat map. As you guys know, I'm very visual. And this is a heat map of a score across the 10-point scoring mechanism that we use. Now, each one has a value, and that helps me determine which combination, where I should invest, how much I should invest, what the upside is, what the risk is, where they are on the market trend, etc. And what I mean by that is sometimes an asset can be very oversold and it can fall into your spider web. Sometimes an asset can run too fast, too far, too quick, as we saw with things like Matic and maybe even Solana. So it's good sometimes to be always tap dance, readjust, depending on how things move. But as of this point in time today, these are the core assets that I like. So just want to share that new heat map with you, and all this material, of course, will be shared with the Patreon team, Patreon capitalists. So the chosen ones, to go into a little bit of depth here, this is the list. Now the caveat, as I mentioned, tap dance. These are the tokens and cryptos that I like today that could change tomorrow. And these are the ones I selected to build what I call this optimal portfolio for retirement. Again, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, some may be swapped out, changed, ditched. Some may blow up and become valueless. We don't know. But the names that I really like, and the names I got into positions, are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, Aave, Solana, Uniswap, Polkadot, Cardano, Polygon, and Algorand. So just want to share that. Now the ratio, what's very important as well, of how much I would invest in these. Again, this is my personal preference. Please do your own research. But Ethereum and Bitcoin make up 82% of the total portfolio, and 18% was allocated to 8 other names, averaging about 2% each. Some are 5%, some are 3%, some are 1%. But again, note the tap dancing and be ready to switch out if something turns bad, technology gets corrupted, crazy tokenomics happens, whatever. There could be 100 different reasons as to why to ditch out of a position and get into a better position. So always remember, keep those shoes on. Now, in a little bit of hopium use as well, I touched on this one yesterday. Breedlove believes that Bitcoin could be worth 12.5 million in the year 2031. And I just want to share that he also believes it could be worth 307,000 in October 2021. So 2 very lofty goals here, but don't believe in too much hopium. I tend to be very, very conservative in my price predictions, but I also am very acutely aware of the fact that the underlying asset is the US dollar, and that could debase, and it will debase over time. So the point is, $1 million, a true $1 million in the year 2030, may only have a purchasing power today of about 540,000. So keep that in mind too. But this is the set of models that I'm going to walk you through. Now, another quick warning before we jump into the retirement models, which are pretty cool, is anything can happen to Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin could blow up. There's always a 1% chance of that. But again, as many people say, it is the biggest and best asymmetric bet of our lifetime. So I can't remember, I think it was Scaramucci said, if you're not long Bitcoin, you are short. So everybody needs a piece, no matter what, even if something bad happens. So hey, this is the time that I say, where's the beef, when we get deep into the models. But because some people may have been offended who are vegetarian or vegan, we changed it to where's the tofu. So we scratched out where's the beef. So I hope this does not offend both carnivores and omnivores alike in the audience. I love all. So let's jump in. First of all, what would you have gotten if you invested $50,000 today in the year 2030? So I ran, as usual, my detailed numbers. So if you invested and you put $50,000 in, this model assumes a couple of different things. First of all, the $50,000 is an arbitrary number, but people come to me every day saying, hey, I have $50,000 to invest. I have $5,000 to invest, $10,000, $100,000, $300,000, $500,000. What would you invest in? And this is not investment advice, but this is what I would do, and this is what I did. So using $50,000 as a number, which is a number I chose because it also is enough to invest today, buying the dip to be able to generate very, very good long-term returns as long as you're in the right names. So let's look and see exactly what we did. So I believe that $50,000 invested this morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific in the names that I chose could be worth over 1.3 million in the year 2030. And that's basically 9 years away from now. And it'll enable you to spend about 2.7 million over the next 25 years. Like that is 2030 through 2053 or something like that. And I also assume a couple of things. One, I assume you'll be able to stake your crypto and get a 6% return. And I also assume that inflation will average about 3% per year. Now that 6% staking also could include capital appreciation of the underlying asset itself. So it's, again, like everything I do, I sandbag, super conservative in my price predictions and in the returns you get there 2030 and beyond for these assets. So think about that. So basically, 50,000 today and saved up and invested will result in a crypto fund balance in the year 2030 of about $1.314 million. And it'll allow you to spend $2.725 million over the next 25 years from up to 2053. And your monthly expenses with that 50,000 to be able to drain from this amount will be about 6,600 a month. So, may say, how is that possible? So, here I have my chosen investments. This is the breakdown, and I added a column to show how many tokens you need to have $1 million worth by 2030. So this is kind of a tool for those people that have a lot of, say, Cardano. For example, here you'll see to have $1 million, if you only hold Cardano, you need about 62,000 tokens. For Bitcoin, you need about 1.24 Bitcoin. For Ethereum, you need about 30.3 Bitcoin. And Chainlink, about 1,400. Now, it's important to remember, I'll jump out for a second, these numbers change all the time. My price predictions change all the time. They'll be very different a month, 2 months, a year from now. But as we stand today, I have a very high degree of confidence that this portfolio, this $50,000 invested this morning, will be worth over $1.3 million. Some items may be run faster than others. Some may explode and become worthless. That's just what it is. But I just want to share that with you all. So that was the first model. Now, what people like, and they always ask me as well, how much does it take to retire? And as usual, I'm going to cover off some of the usual suspects of countries. And I choose a wide variety of countries. I choose the most expensive ones in which to live, as well as the cheapest. And again, for this model, let's just jump into the Cayman Islands. So I chose this because it's a very expensive place to live, and also Raoul Pal lives there. And here you can see, as usual, I assume 3% inflation and a 6% return on investment in 2030 and beyond. So with this particular model here, you will be able to spend $7,918 a year with an initial investment of 60,000 US dollars. Coincidentally, that's the number it took to generate this 7,900, which is the amount you need a month to live. And it's also 3x the local salary. And it includes other cost of living adjustments as well. So basically, your fund balance will be 1.577 million in the year 2030, based on that $60,000 investment this morning. And you'll be able to spend 3.2 million over the next 25 years. And that is the model. Now, the breakdown of what that looks like in terms of the crypto holdings is here. So you can see this breakdown includes 1.14 Bitcoins. And again, Raoul Pal is the reason I chose the Cayman Islands, but it's also the most expensive place. And about 10 Ethereum, 180 Link, 10 Aave, etc., 600 Cardano, and you can see where they all roll out over time. Now, some horses run faster than others, and these are all based on my 10-year price predictions in my detailed analysis for all the models that are covered in my Should I Buy series. That is Cayman Islands. Second one is United States of America. Over 50% of my audience comes from the US, so this is the model for the US. Now, here, the amount you need to live is about $5,700 a month. But this does not mean you are living in Manhattan or San Francisco. You could be living in a cheaper domicile, not a big city. And again, 6% stake return, 3% inflation, and you will have a fund of 1.132 million at the end of 2030 by which to live off. You'll be able to withdraw that $5,700 a month, and you'll be spending about $2.35 million over the period of time. Now, the crypto portfolio to retire in the US in 2030 looks something like this. You will need 0.82 Bitcoin, about 6.7 ETH, 130 Chainlink, 58 Solana, 57 Uniswap, 61 Polkadot, 431 Cardano, 406 Polygon, and 600 Algorand. And that's what you could have bought today at all those prices. It was crazy. But let's go a little bit further. Let's go to Australia. Very big audience there in Australia. In this model, the US cost of living is very similar to that of the United States, but the currency can skyrocket because the Australian dollar is tied to the price of commodities to a large extent, kind of like Canada tied to the price of oil to a large extent as well. So if commodities skyrocket, so could the Australian dollar, and that will mean you will have to adjust this model. But here, again, you invested $41,806, you'll be able to pull $5,500 a month. Your crypto balance will be $1.1 million, and this is all US dollars, it's not local currency. You'll be able to spend about $2.3 million over 25 years, and your holdings need to look something like this today. So this will be fun as well. For people who already have some crypto, it's good to take this as a benchmark as to how much more you need by which to retire, which is another common question I get as well. So you could have, for example, your 0.79 Bitcoin in the bag, but you may not have any ETH. So you need another 6.5 ETH. You may not have any Chainlink. Get 125 Chainlink. Need a little bit of Aave. Get 7 of those. 57 Sol, 55 Uniswap, 60 DOT, etc., etc. You guys get the idea. And again, when you want to just sit down and pause the video, screenshot the table, and tweak it. For those in Patreon capitalists, I'll be sharing all these models as well, so you can play with them yourselves. And El Salvador. This one is very common right now because it's now a crypto-friendly domicile and a Bitcoin sovereign nation. They also have beautiful beaches, beautiful people, and very low cost of living. But at the same time, yes, you can get a very cheap apartment there, but you want to live in a better place because there is sometimes a little bit of crime in some areas. So you'll need about $1,965 a month to live very well in El Salvador. That means today, you need to invest about $14,890. Again, staking returns or appreciation of 6% from 2030 onwards with 3% inflation, and your 25-year spend will be about $811,000. Now, what type of holdings do you need to retire in El Salvador in the year 2030? And El Salvador might become a very expensive place because they become a Bitcoin domicile. It might become one of the richest countries in the world. Who knows? But when I was running these numbers, this is uncanny. I'll jump out here. You guys may remember the importance of the 0.28. There was a lot of talk about that. It's a very special number in the Bitcoin world because many believe if you have 0.28 Bitcoin, you're statistically guaranteed to be in the richest 1% of the world in Bitcoin terms. So I believe to be in the 1% of the world in terms of Bitcoin holders, you need about 3.3 Bitcoin, but that's a separate issue. I've done videos on that as well. But the thing is, when I'm running thousands of simulations and looking at all these numbers, I identify patterns and trends, and this blew me away. It was exactly 0.28 for El Salvador, which I believe is, as the word in German goes, Schicksal, like destiny, that this happened because of they are the first nation to become a sovereign of Bitcoin. Anyway, 0.28 Bitcoin. Cost this morning, 29,000. You could have easily gotten it. You need 2.3 ETH. 44 Link, 20 Sol, 150 Cardano, 140 Polygon, and 200 Algorand. And that will get you there. So welcome El Salvador. First time I've ever done that country for this. Now, when I've done these before, I had some complaints from people from India why I didn't cover India. And the reason is very simple. Back then, it wasn't crypto friendly, and I don't want to recommend people to make plans for retirement in a place that's not crypto friendly. But as usual, they've changed their mind. Now they're crypto friendly again. So here we are, India. The amount invested today, $12,500. That's all you need to be able to retire well in India. Your crypto fund balance will be about $329,000 at the end of 2030. And you'll be able to spend about $700,000 over time. Your monthly expenses will be about $1,600. Remember, this doesn't mean you have a waterfront apartment in Mumbai or somewhere like that, which is the new word for Bombay. But it means you'll be able to have a good standard of living in Bangalore or other place like that. So bear that in mind. And in terms of ETH Holdings, you will need about just under a quarter of an ETH. That's a quarter of a Bitcoin, 0.24 Bitcoin, 2 ETH, 37 Chainlink, 16 Uniswap, 18 DOT, 125 Cardano, or a mix of whatever you like. I thought it was kind of uncanny. You just need under a quarter of a Bitcoin to retire in India, which is spectacular. But of course, the middle class in India is growing very rapidly, and it could become more expensive over time. Now, Costa Rica, this is a very retirement-friendly country, but it's also kind of expensive. But it's a very good place for a medical system and for Westerners, etc. Now, it's not that cheap to live here. You need about $3,400 a month, but investing $26,000 this morning can get you there in 2030. That will give you a crypto balance fund of $686,000, and you'll be able to spend $1.4 million over 25 years. We have some people in Patreon actually who go there quite often. So well done, Costa Rica. Now, that means you need just under half a Bitcoin, 0.49 Bitcoin, 4 ETH, 78 Chainlink, etc., etc. Maybe throw in 260 Cardano, or whatever mix you want of all of those cryptos. So that was it. Now, quick conclusion. As always, hang out till the conclusion. First of all, this is a gold rush. This is a transformational time for everybody. So, only invest what you could risk, what you can afford to risk, but at the same time, it has an extremely bright future, I believe. But there are risks, so be very careful and walk in. Everything could blow up. Be aware of that, and that is for any investment, not just crypto. So again, it can change your life, but you could also get wrecked if you don't manage your risk. That's why it's good to have a little bit of a portfolio. I like the number 10, and share the wealth across assets with a heavy weighting on the safest bets with the lowest risk and the best upside. Especially look at tokenomics, which we look very heavily at. Now, a quick warning to everybody. These are my true social links. There are people, scammers, creating fake pages, Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Hope you guys like this. I'll share them all soon. And that's it.